most outrageous hip-hop story there ever was has once again taken a wild turn. Jay-Z has now opened up about the betrayal that destroyed his business and his relationship with Dame Dash. Picture this, it's 1995 and Jay-Z is hustling, selling cassettes out of his car boot after the major record companies have told him to get lost. Well, what did he do after that? He worked with Dame Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burke to form Roc-A-Fella Records. Oh, and this is one of the best things that ever happened to the hip-hop world. They did not disappoint, getting to the top rather fast. It's like the dream team of hip-hop, acquiring the most sought-after artists and collaborating with the most popular producers. This three-man crew could not be stopped, and with Jay-Z being the lyrical genius, Dame Dash the business-savvy manager, and Biggs Burke the silent partner who kept things running smoothly, they created history, came up with masterpieces that filled the charts, and created a name that seemed to equal success. However, as the saying goes, more money, more problems. A few years down the line, the situation is not as rosy. The bromance begins to splinter. Some rumors suggested that Dame offered to make Cameron the president of Roc-A-Fella during Jay-Z's absence on holiday. Then there is Jay-Z, who just shakes his head and goes, excuse me? And the buildup continues. By 2002, rumors of a split were being floated around the market more and more. Everyone from fans to business analysts were wondering whether Roc-A-Fella was going to survive or not. Was the powerhouse label on the verge of shutting down? Dame, being the showman, was dismissing all these rumors, insisting that Roc-A-Fella was as healthy as a horse. But everyone could tell things were not at all well behind the scenes. Fast forward to 2004, and Jay-Z drops the ultimate bombshell. As we know, he is going to be the president and CEO of Def Jam. It allows him to retain full control of Roc-A-Fella while also giving him a $10 million paycheck. If there is something that defines a boss, then this has to be it. In his recent revelations, Jay-Z has not been shy about saying what he stood to gain from joining Def Jam. He viewed it as a way to extend his authority in his music and own life. But it was not solely ambition that lay at the heart of the move. Jay-Z was willing to let it all go. Roc-A-Fella, Def Jam, everything. If only Dame and Biggs would let him keep the rights to his first album, Reasonable Doubt. When they did not, Jay-Z had no option other than to create his own way forward. This decision was pivotal. To Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt was not just an album, but a body of work that was organically tied to his existence and his tribulation. Maintaining the rights to that album was to safeguard his history, to make sure that his narrative was documented in the way that he wanted it to be. At the same time, Dame was failing in his fights. He was not afraid of speaking his mind and was involved in some scandalous activities that offended most of the industry's leaders. He viewed Lior Cohen as one of the main enemies and claimed that he was using black artists and sowing discord among them. There was more to Dame's problem with Cohen than just the issue with the company. It was a very personal issue. He thought that Cohen represented everything that was wrong with the music industry, a parasitic entity that made money on the backs of the artists. But Jay-Z had a different view of this guy. For him, Cohen was a kind of role model, a man who teaches something and offers a job. This fundamental difference in how they viewed key figures in the industry only added to the rift between Jay-Z and Dame. Another trigger was the collaboration between Jay-Z and R. Kelly on the joint album The Best of Both Worlds. Jay-Z saw it as a business decision where he put together two top actors to make a saleable product. Dame, still grieving over the death of Aaliyah, who was dating R. Kelly at the time, was categorically against it. This kind of collaboration imposed additional pressure on both, which already had a stressful relationship. Jay-Z also kept on growing. He was now not only a rapper, but also a businessman owning a large empire. From fashion to managing sports teams to investing in technology, Jay-Z was now branching out, the quintessential hustler rapper. As for Dame, he took a different direction. He began his business enterprises, undertaken with a certain amount of prejudice to demonstrate his worth. While he was successful in several of the projects he was involved in, he could not completely distance himself from the controversy that stemmed from his beef with Jay-Z. More recently, Jay-Z has begun to look back at those days of conflict. He accepts the suffering and infidelity and never regrets what he has done. For Jay-Z, it was always about the broader picture. It was about making sure that one day he would have total mastery over his life. In his recent interviews, Jay-Z has been keen on claiming that it is all about legacy. He had to make sure that his efforts in hip-hop and his transformation from a gang member to an executive were documented. This vision often placed him in a conflict of interest with the rest of society, and even with Dame. As I said earlier, Jay-Z proposed to relinquish his shares in Roc-A-Fella and his post at Def Jam if Dame and Biggs would allow him to retain the rights to his first album, Reasonable Doubt. They said no, and Jay-Z was like, well, I must go then. And who can blame him? And it was not only a business issue, but a question of how to preserve one's reputation. But what of the future? Can Jay-Z and Dame ever make up? Both have admitted to having regret in how things ended, but the scars are very deep. Jay-Z has also moved on and built a life and a career that many would be green with envy over. Dame continues to be the antagonist of Jay-Z and the decisions he made, even though he is still a towering figure on his own. In any case, what is beyond doubt is that the drama of Jay-Z and Dame Dash is far from over. Regardless of their collaboration, breakup, and the careers they have pursued since, people cannot get enough. It is a story of ambition, loyalty, and betrayal. Jay-Z's story is therefore a clear testimony of vision and determination. What he has proved is that there are no limits to what one can achieve if only he or she puts his mind to it. About Dame, he is a very hardworking man, and he will never lose this edge in his life. Still, it is the right time that we remember the bigger picture surrounding this story. What we witness in Jay-Z and Dame's case is the real-life experience of the transformation of the music industry in the past few decades. It shows the prospects of success, the choices one has to make, the price one pays for achievement, and constructing a legacy. As Jay-Z has evolved from a street-smarts dope dealer to a global entertainment business tycoon, there have been highs and lows, or as the streets would call it, wins and losses. It is touching and can be appreciated by anyone who follows hip-hop and the lives of those who have a dream to chase. Thus, what message can one derive from all this melodrama? Jay-Z continues to assert that all of his actions boil down to him trying to build a career and a future. He has some regrets, but still, he does not repent any of the actions he has made. This is where ambition met loyalty, or rather where Jay-Z decided to stick the shovel. If you loved this, check out other videos below to view more interesting comparisons and current topics.